See, FutureCity is going to lead the world. Shenzhen is going to lead the world. Here we have an image of the city, but I'm going to step back because you're all asking a question. What is the city of the future? What is life bringing us? The internet age, the handheld device, the connectivity, big data. How is our city going to change as a result? And I'm going to step right back in time to when cities was first formed. Most cities, and Shenzhen is no exception, are formed from the conglomeration of little villages coming together, stretching their hands out, touching with roadways, and combining into a city. And where those roads intersect is where we have our key buildings. It's where we have density. It's where we have communities. Western cities have made a huge mistake. They've loaded up their cities with buildings without any care about that infrastructure, about where the old villages were, about where the intersections happened. Because it's where the intersections happen, like a spider's web. Where the intersections happen is where the web is strong. If we put too many buildings across the entire city, the web will break. We need to cluster our buildings together. By clustering buildings, we create density. We use our land wisely. Densification creates sustainability. Sustainability creates smart cities. And here we can see a diagram. At the top is a Western city, where density has been spread out across the entire city. What happens as a result? The roads become clogged with cars and buses. There's pollution. Everything moves slowly. But if we follow this pattern of densifying where we have subway systems, where the roads intersect, then there will be less journeys to work. People will be living close to their work. And there will be less cars on the road and less land utilized. The city will go from being an even grid to being something which has dense, what I call city hubs. And between the city hubs will be parks for family life and community. The old CBDs will be surrounded by a network of city hubs. And here's a diagram of Shanghai. It's possible to predict exactly where the city hubs, exactly where the high density will occur. So we can analyze already by looking at where we have an intersection of subway lines, an intersection of roads. That is where the new high density areas will occur. The City of London grew up over hundreds of years to create the central business district. In Hong Kong, we have a city hub here in Quarry Bay, which is a live-work dynamic. It's a true place of the future that's grown up accidentally as an area that was an industrial area got converted, got revitalized. Chaoyang is another live-work city hub, new city hub. But there's a problem, and it's a problem that China is addressing and the West is not. When we use land wisely and we create greater density, then we need more space for the public to walk on. The pavements are not enough. We need more public space at many, many levels. The city becomes a conglomerate. Instead of individual towers, the city becomes a merging of built form, a merging of decks and bridges, connective walkways, underground connections, putting everybody together, bringing the public together. We have public rooftops. public podiums. We have elevated public parks and connectors like the High Line, merging buildings together. Even elevated waterways and canals. So what we have is a shift from separated buildings into conglomerated mixed-use buildings. And that term mixed use was invented here in China. This type of building is what we're going to see in the future. And this type of space with multi-level connectors is what we will see increasingly in China, but not in the West, because the Western cities cannot accommodate this degree of change. Now let's take those principles and apply them to Shenzhen. Let's see what happens if we take that thesis and move it forward. I first went to Shenzhen in 1980. That's 37 years ago, and it was just a little village. And the first city node, Luohu, was built in the 80s. In the 90s, more city nodes appeared. And so by 2010, we start to see the pattern of Shenzhen now, which is a linear city. Soon, the subway established and reinforced the city hubs over the subway interchanges. So where we have 2, 3, or 4 subway lines intersecting, now we get intense densification, high-density hubs. And look at Checkmiao and Futian. That's where we're going to next. See, FutureCity is beautifully located between Checkmiao and Futian stations. 14 minutes will take you from Futian to Hong Kong Harbour in a year's time. Futian is going to become the most important city hub in Shenzhen because the amount of people moving through that system. So we are 3 minutes from Checkmiao, we're 9 minutes from Futian, 14 minutes from the Hong Kong Harbour. Now, 37 years ago, there was nothing here, but there was Shangtai Village that's been here for 400 years. And it was built out like this in the 80s. It's time to rebuild. It's trying to reinvigorate and create a new life. Standing between two subway stations, link to Futian in 10 minutes, this development truly will be looking to the future. Office, shopping mall, retail street, residential. Work, live, and recreate. That is the pattern of our future life. Now, in order to design the city of the future, we have brought together talents from all over the world. IDIS itself involved 8 of our offices from the Middle East, London, Beijing, Singapore, and Hong Kong. And one of the things that we've designed here is a group of pavilions that are state-of-the-art, interactive pavilions which we're designing with the team. Bringing together technology, nature, and art. Combining history and culture, bringing community with leisure, architecture and technology. In phase 1, we have the iconic gateway of the Twin Towers. And you've already seen how Team Lab are creating, at the base of the towers, the sculpture. Towers represent the power of 2. The retail entry is designed as transparent. LED mesh is laminated within the glass. And most importantly, multiple levels connect the entire development together. In phase 2, we move to an outdoor life. Here we have the gateway, first of the 2 pavilions. Glass fins activated by LED. The second pavilion, the orange pavilion. Again, LED and light. Here's the watchtower. Programmable, changeable. The mirror images. And here we have Team Lab again with an ever-changing water feature. And finally, this stroke, reinventing the marketplace under the existing banyan trees. Thank you very much.